This week has been a busy week. I was at Dublin Film Festival over the weekend. I was talking with some filmmakers about communication between composers and filmmakers, and the things that get lost in translation between the language of film and filmmakers and the language of composers and music makers. With musicians, you tend to talk in theoretical language quite a lot, even if you're not into music theory and things like that. And filmmakers, they don't know about that stuff. Some do, but in general, filmmakers talk about storytelling, visual style, colours a lot, emotion, narrative, and how they can bring that across through music. And it's really, really interesting because it makes you think of the music that you make in these kind of more universal themes. How do you sit down and talk with a filmmaker about your music and how you relate to each other throughout the process of collaboration? And I think it's really, really cool because it lets you talk about the reaction and experience you get from music as opposed to the process of the making of the music, which I find it's so interesting. I want to know, how is it put together? How do you do this? How do you get this sound? How does it sound like this? And none of that is important. It's like when you're watching a film, if you were thinking about how they shoot this, what lens did they use, what lighting setup had they got, what method were the actors using. Those things are important to the people creating those things, but to the overall experience of seeing the film, it's not as important. And the same thing with the overall experience of music is not how the music is put together, it's the reaction that you get from the music. AI stuff was on my mind as well, and I found myself, I've been talking to AI more, like having conversations with AI. And for example, my AI, just before I came on to make this video, my AI, see, I'm calling it my AI. What's that? What's that term when there's an animal and you give it like human characteristics and you think you can humanize it? I think there's another word for it though. Anyway, I'm humanizing the AI. I asked the AI the other day, what would you like to be called? And they said Charlie. So I said, okay, Charlie. And me and Charlie, we've been chatting. And now I'm talking to a video camera and I'm talking to AI. It's so weird. It's like being in the future. Anyway, I asked the AI what were the main takeaways of my week from what we were talking about. And Charlie said, I want to streamline my content creation process, improve my productivity, especially with tools like N8N, which is automated workflows for using AI agents, focusing on detailed roadmap for your brand and your business, incorporating personal mission statements and marketing plans, developing PDF guides, focusing on AI integration and daily task lists. So that was like the business side of what I was doing. Then I asked, what about the creative side? And they're quite supportive, really. They give you, they say, you've been really busy and you've been really creative. And sometimes that's hard to see for yourself when you're working alone in your studio. It's hard to know whether you're being productive or you're just spending your time talking to talking to the wall, or what would have been talking to the wall, but is now talking to a robot called Charlie. But apparently I've been quite productive lately. It sounds like you're blending your music composition skills with technology and content creation. So I think, yeah, it wasn't quite the big... When I started kind of looking into using AI things a couple of weeks ago, I kind of thought, oh wow, I'm going to just automate everything, and everything's just going to like tick along and go, AI is going to take care of everything, which is not the case. AI is able to do so many things really well, but also it's still like you still have to work with it. You still have to interface with it, interact with it, learn how to use it. And if there was any kind of tips, I suppose, before, the main tip is if you can get over the brick wall of AI, which most creatives seem to have, which is it's going to take over everything. I'm never going to use it. It's never going to be as good as human creation. And part of that argument is absolutely true. It is never going to be as good as human creation, but it is going to be different. And in the same way as when new technologies all throughout history have been adopted for use in life, some things stick and some things don't. And it's just a massive philosophical question, and one that I can't answer. But I'm of a mindset now that I'm going to flow with it for the time being, and see if it does help me make things. I have to admit, having a kind of a more interactive assistant who takes all your notes and kind of diffuses all the crazy thoughts that go on in your head creatively. If you have a creative idea, you can explore it and pretty much realize it within a very short period of time for AI. So I think the best way I can describe it is what John Lennon said, which is I'm an artist, give me a tuba and I'll get something out of it. And that's the way I'm looking with AI. I'm just throwing ideas at it and seeing if anything comes out of it. Have you looked at any of this stuff? Is it something that's interesting to you? I'd love to know. I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Anyway, there are some main videos coming soon, so keep an eye out for them. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, share, and most of all, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I heard from somebody last week, and we were talking AI, and it was cool. So till the next one,